Welcome everyone to episode 8, 7, something around that ballpark. It doesn't matter, does it really? But yeah, welcome everyone. We got Frank here today, who is Fran's husband, if you had seen Fran's first episode. So welcome, Frank, again.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you on.
Gonna do as he's told. Not.
So yeah, Tom was supposed to be joining us today, but he's got up and felt a bit tired, so couldn't make it in. So we've invited Frank on, and we thought
I was the second choice.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. You were going to get an hour in town, weren't you? But you're here. It's great to have you. I think you were on with Fran last time, but I don't think you could get a word in edgeways, as might normally be the case.
Very few people do.
Probably not.
So I think it would be good today to hear a bit more from you and like your experiences, you know, since Fran's been diagnosed, and hear more about it from your perspective. And
yeah.
So, yeah, how's it been since? Well, how was it when Fran initially got diagnosed for you?
Well, it was a strange journey because basically Fran was the mainstay in the relationship. She looked after all the money, finances, bills. She's done everything, you know. Mm-hmm. And then one day she didn't look at her receipt when she came out of the shop, and next time she left her card in the reader, and I thought, this is strange behaviour. And then little things started escalating and just continued, didn't they? And then,
yeah.
And we knew something was changing in her. So, and it affected your work as well, didn't it? Mm. So it was a gradual process because we, like it was over like years, a couple of years before we actually realised there was something wrong. And then, you know, we realised that this was serious. So we started, like, you know, went to the doctors and got some tests done and that. And everything.
The mini mental tests.
Yeah, they were, failed them spectacular.
Yeah, used to drive me nuts and all of them.
And how was that when the diagnosis came through then, in terms of how it impacted you? And
it wasn't unexpected by the time, because it was such a long period of time. It wasn't unexpected because we knew there was, you know, it just wasn't right at all. So so we weren't actually overly shocked because with Fran being a nurse, she'd more or less self-diagnosed herself and that. And but it was, and in some ways it was better that way because we sort of become acclimatised to it.
We got used to it, didn't we? By that, we knew what we were going to be.
We
told.
Sort of just, the whole sort of journey was sort of one long continuous journey. Obviously, it got progressively worse and that, and particularly like because Fran used to really like a drink, didn't you? And we noticed it.
As in, I just like to drink.
But once Fran had a drink, she'd go into full dementia mode.
Right.
And it was this surreal. I had to start hiding the keys and lock the front door. And because I was getting in bed one night and I just happened to glance out the window and she was marching down the road.
Wow.
Going to a club.
So what's
Don't know where I was going.
What's full-on dementia mode?
Well, she because she's always had this peripheral where she's been good some days, bad some days, and when she had a drink, it was sort of prolonged. You know, we realised the whole sort of where brown mind worked and everything was totally different if she had alcohol.
Right.
Whereas she'd come out and she'd be trying to get comfortable under the windowsill in the front garden, you know. And it was like bizarre. And then
I used to sit on the front doorstep and just sit there.
And we realised Fran had to stop drinking because although she wasn't like excessive drinker. No,
I wasn't.
But the small amounts of alcohol had a really serious effect on her. So it's another thing she had to give up.
So the champagne went.
But we kept the champagne wall.
Yeah.
So and then
we decided then though, didn't we? We had just been diagnosed at one stage and we went into the lockdown and we decided that before I started my medication, we'd have champagne every day.
Yeah, we
until
did
it started.
But she couldn't drink.
And we had such a good time, didn't we?
And it was a lovely summer.
Yeah. So.
Your life just gradually, incrementally just changes and changes. So there's a very famous saying, abnormal behavior over a period of time becomes normal behavior. So we just slipped into this different roles, as it were, and we've just sort of changed. And although our daughter takes a lot of the stuff Fran used to do, so I don't have to do all that.
Oh, that's handy.
I still sort of sit back a bit.
We do plod along, don't we? But I still do a lot of stuff. I still make decisions. I just don't make the decisions I used to make.
Yeah. And we thought it was best if Fran carries on as normal as possible for, doing stuff that she used to do. And the more she carried on doing stuff, So when she asked me to do something, I always say, well, come on, you can still do it. I don't have to. So we try.
Sometimes I do it on purpose so I can get away with something.
So we try to keep it as normal as possible. Fortunately enough, we haven't, although France's short-term memory is greatly affected now, whereas, it's instantaneous now, things she'll try to talk to me. Like she shouted me from the back door, patio door, and I was in the garden. She said, "Frank," and I went, "Yes, love." And she went, "I don't know." So, and that's happening lots. But a friend will phone up with a medical problem from years ago, or some discussion about medical, and Fran's away, talking. And I thought, well, she can't sort of remember instantaneous stuff, but she can discuss medical issues with her friend, from things that happened years ago and that. So it's quite a surreal experience when you have this person that's sort of quite forgetful, and her physical health's deteriorating, and she bounces off the walls of a morning, and she's all over the place.
And I haven't had a drink myself.
And then it's with Fran, it's like one extreme to the other. It's sort of, although we drifted into it, it's very surreal, really, because you can't sort of plan anything, and you don't like travelling now or anything, do you? So we don't.
Our lifestyle's changed, hasn't it, quite dramatically to what it was.
Very much so. We don't, it's a very small a bubble we've got now. So it's just, it's hard to describe. And as I say, it becomes your normal. And so you tend to just be what people would sort of consider abnormal behaviour. We're just it's just our normal, So, and I think as long, I've always been someone who can accept things. So, people often say they accept things, but they don't actually truly accept them. But in our case, we
did.
We have accepted the situation.
It's worked so much better for us, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think in one way, Frank is saying how we are, and that's great, and it's good. But I know personally that it has affected Frank more than what Frank would actually say now. Because I see things in Frank now and I think, and I know he's been so upset about me and sad and, and I suppose he's been sad for what we've lost now and what we don't do and what we did do, but he's just really supportive of me and everything. But I do feel sad for Frank.
And sometimes Fran gets shocked herself, when... and I try to hide my reaction, but, you can see on Fran's face that, she's realised she's done something, or
not done something.
Or not done something.
Set the back kitchen on fire.
Well, we had to, we went to a funeral last Friday, and it was Fran's best friend and her sister. So Fran was supporting her best friend, and for the last 6 weeks, it's been a constant in Fran's life, just supporting her friend. And then 2 days before the funeral, it was the day we pick our granddaughter up from school, so we weren't doing it. So Fran said to me, "We're not picking Daisy up on Friday, are we?" And I said, "No." And she said, "We've got something to do, haven't we?" And I was like totally shocked because this funeral, and Fran says, "Don't tell me, I'll remember." And then she couldn't remember. And then I had to tell her it was Marg's funeral, and Fran was really, really shocked.
Yeah.
So it's quite upsetting, things like that, and you just, and it's sort of in some ways, it's like you run into a wall type thing, and it's, you're both shocked, and and then the reality is of your situation, and it's quite upsetting, isn't it?
Yeah. I think as well, if you're under stress and anxiety, your short-term memory gets worse, because we've had my friend, unfortunately, she lost her sister, and it's just been a very, very sad time for them. And without going into too much details, Frank hasn't been very well. So, I've found that when I've got more stress levels, then it happens more. And I suppose that's expected, really. But it has happened more, hasn't it, over the past few weeks? Because over the past 8 weeks, we've had a few things we've had to deal with and sort out and stuff. And it's just been really, really stressful. Mm. And I think that's part of it. I'm not saying it's all of it, because it isn't, but it's part of it. Mm. And it's just, I do, as I say, I feel sad for Frank, because when I'm forgetting things like that, I can see it on his face. He's quite, shocked that I haven't remembered something. Yeah.
And you try not to be shocked, and you think you're disguising it well. And it's, but we are often, you look at people and, and they always say to Fran, oh, you look really well, and everything's fine. And, people, you have this surreal experience where you're looking at people on the street and you're thinking, they're all living their lives and they're all rushing around everywhere. The people have, in some aspects, no idea about dementia and what's going on in people's lives. Everybody's in such a rush these days.
They don't need to know, though, do they?
Oh, no, they don't need to know. But
to them.
I'm only thinking in terms of, when you're looking at your situation and you think, everybody's rushing past you, thinking rushing things to do and in work.
I think it's because it's a silent disease, isn't it, in one aspect? You'd only see...
Especially in the early phases.
Yeah, and you'd only see older people, not being disrespectful, but you see people in their 80s, 85s and things, and you see they've become so far advanced, and they're usually hospitalised by then or put into a care home, and that's what everyone's impression of dementia is.
The later stages.
The later stages rather than the early stages, because I'm in my 5th year now. And I do know that it's getting, it's progressing, and I do know that. But I know that people now know, with things like what we're doing and going to do sessions with students, nurses, everybody that you can do them with, that it gives them an opportunity to know that it's, when they're out there, it's not just for older people, it's for younger people. And, Frank and I think we're quite young still. We're not, but we still think we're young. And, we've always just plodded along, haven't we? And done what we've done. And even though we've lost a lot of that, we've still got a lot of other things, haven't we, that we just plod along with.
Yeah, we still have a lovely life. We have 3 wonderful grandchildren, 3 children. Our children, well, I say children, are all in the 40s, late 40s.
Yeah.
They took us out to a posh restaurant last night, and we all sat around laughing and joking. And
do you think that's been a big contributing factor as to why it's 5 years in, and Fran on her good days is able to do podcasts and go and give talks and
we have a wonderful support system with our children, and even our grandchildren. So, when you've got a good family life, and in some ways it's a bit more upsetting. In some ways, because they're so good.
We're not alone, are we?
No, far from us. And
even if we're sitting in the house alone, we're not alone, because we know that. And some of our friends are lovely as well, aren't they? And we've just
our family want to be involved, or
a tight little community, haven't we? So within it.
And what support have you found helpful, if any, at all, over the years, in terms of not from family but out there?
Well, I haven't really needed any outside support as of yet. And I know it's there, and like, you know, the carers, care line, care navigators phone me, or check I'm okay, and which is good. And the Sedgemoor group and Cheryl's phoned me before and that. But, you know, I can phone my children up and say, oh, God, you know, you don't believe what your mother done. Like, you know, left the freezer open again, ruined up.
And how much research or reading, or how much did you learn about dementia in the early days, and how did that make you feel?
Well, to be honest, I work within the dementia team within the Zackley Hospital.
Oh, right.
It is, yeah.
And I gained quite an insight into dementia because I'd have to, you know, talk to the doctors and the consultants and the nurse and the ward managers and ask them about patients. And because the doctors were busy, I used to go on and, like, you know, read the notes sometimes with one of the matrons, or, you know, we'd go on and we'd check the patients and check through the notes, and you'd read all their symptoms and whatever. And then we'd say to the doctor, say, look, have you read these notes, or can we do a dementia form for you on this one? And so I was quite involved. And of course, I asked one of the consultants when I was concerned about Fran. I had a meeting with him, and he would tell me all about it. And that, well, she did that. Yeah.
Well, when I first got diagnosed with vascular dementia, not the Alzheimer's, that came later. When I got the vascular, the consultant who I was under was loath to say that I had vascular dementia. So, which was ridiculous, because he said he wasn't going to label me because I was too young.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I need a label, and because I need to sort my life out. So, you know, I was still off sick then. I hadn't given up nursing, or I hadn't lost my job. So when Frank went into work, he said to the lady he worked with, he said, Fran's a bit up the wall because they've said they're not going to diagnose her with it because she's got it. She's got really bad vascular disease, but he said she's too young.
Yeah, the doctor, I spoke to the doctor, and she said to me, she said basically, because he said they had vascular brain disease. She said brain disease is like, you know, when the little snaps in your brain not connecting and they're forgetting dementia. She said, like, so if you've got vascular brain disease, you've got dementia. You know, she said, you know, there's no, you know, it's very simple. She said to me.
In terms of like where Fran is now, and obviously 5 years ago, what have you seen in like what Fran gets up to aside from the family stuff that you think has helped?
Basically, we've just tried to keep Fran as active as possible and carry on as normal as possible. And, you know, just encourage us to do wherever she can still do. And because she talks a lot, she does go out. She can meet people at bus stops. She can meet, you know, she talks to strangers everywhere. Like her body's sort of...
That was normal. I always talk to people.
Yeah. But that's the sort of attitude that... and she's a caring person, so, like, you know, she used to be able to walk past someone in the hospital and know there was not something wrong with them, you know, instinctively. So she still does that now. We'll go in the car and she'll say, slow down, that person doesn't look right. And,
yeah.
You know,
I've had that when I'm feeling low, and Fran's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because you're not the same. I'm like, oh yeah, just a bit under the weather or whatever. Yeah. Spots it straight away.
So being the person she was, I suppose, has been a big help to her. She's carried on. As I say, we're on this sort of journey, and we've just carried her on as, like, you know, tried to keep her as normal as possible.
So
and we don't live in one another's pockets. I mean, I'll go out and Frank goes out, and I like Frank going out because there'll come a time he won't be able to. He doesn't go everywhere. He only goes to the pub now and again with his mate and or the kids, and they have race days and all stuff like that. But we've just kept going, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then when we know we can't go any further, or I'm tired or that, we'll have a day off. And then, so...
We try to live a normal life as possible.
We just try and live as normal. It's not normal. It's all loads has gone, and you could sit there and cry your eyes out some days to think what you don't do. But I've met so many nice people, haven't we? And we've met positive people, and positive things have happened to us as well, haven't they? So it's good. If we can say it's good, well, it is good.
I'm determined that we're all going to go and have dance lessons, so hopefully you can join in.
I said no because I can't dance, and I said
that's
you
the
dance.
Point of dance lessons.
I said you dance like the bus conductor.
Unfortunately, if you put me on a dance floor, I turn into a block of wood.
Can't wait to see it on camera.
I sort of freeze.
Can't wait to see it.
I said we won't be on Strictly by any sense of the word.
So I haven't been on a dance floor for about 25 years.
All right. Well, when we go, it'll be the first time in 25 years.
I was cool then when Barry White was out.
Well, we got our guest coming in now, Dean. So we'll have a little break and we'll get him set up. We really hope you're enjoying this podcast. We want this to be one of the best free resources for any family affected by dementia. With your help, we can build the biggest community in the world for supporting, guiding and comforting everyone who faces cognitive issues and the people around them. So please hit that subscribe button or share it with someone who needs it. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Dean.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, brilliant. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself? I know you've got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, many hats.
Feel free to tell us about yourself and your background.
Okay, so my name's Dean McShane. I'm a mental health senior lecturer at Liverpool John Moores University. I also am one of the directors of Merseyside dementia-friendly radio station. So it's just become the first DAB dementia-friendly radio station in the country. So we can celebrate that. I'm also a volunteer spokesperson for Playlist for Life, which I've been for many years.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Where do we want to start? So what's your experience with sort of dementia and lecturing, and how have you ended up doing all this good stuff with Place for Life and the radio?
I suppose sort of my clinical area, I worked in an area of doing assessments for dementia, and it was just an area I was really passionate about. I think if we go before that, I worked mostly with young people with mental illness and in particular psychosis. One of the things I was seeing later in life was that the overuse of antipsychotic medication for people with dementia, which kind of shocked me really. And when I discovered about other interventions, in particular music, that was sort of like a big drive for me wanting to disseminate this, especially to my student nurses and to the wider community, really, that music can be just as effective. And with all of the research that is done to prove how effective music is, it's something that I'm really passionate in sort of disseminating, how it's got a lot more benefits than the likes of medication, which is very commonly unnecessarily prescribed.
I know we were saying before we started the podcast about music and the effect it has on you and what it actually brings back in your life as you get older. You only have to hear that little tune and you're back out just having your babies, you're back at school with your friends, you're back in your back kitchen with your mum and dad, and they've got the record player on and they're playing either Jim Reeves or, one of those, and you're all country and western. So you have, I don't know whether this is the right word, you have a big vocabulary of songs in your mind, but you don't think about them until when now, as my dementia's got worse, I find I have more background to when I was younger.
Yeah, of course,
not in the future. Yeah. So I'm always thinking about those things. And I think of the songs that we all sang in the house, and, I think, I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden was mine. And it was like, on the they do karaoke now. Well, you'd have the hairbrush or you'd have the whisk and you'd be singing with your sisters, and, you'd just be, it's been such an important part of people's lives, hasn't it? And
massively.
And different generations have had different music styles to follow. Yeah. And I think as well, some people are so, is it eclectic, the word? I can't remember the words now, but my son, he loves the Beatles, he loves Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Our three children have the most different.
Yeah, they're all quite different. Yeah.
With music.
Yeah.
And it's just a happy place. And yes, it can be sad. Some songs can be sad, especially if you broke up with someone or they dumped you. You can remember them. But there's such nice stuff out there, isn't there?
Yeah. I go for a walk for a morning in the park, and there's like country park by where I live, and there's like quite a community. Like everybody talks to each other, and there's 2 other men roughly my age whose wives have got dementia, and I spoke to. And there was another lady who I spoke to a couple of days ago, and she looked after her dad with dementia. And we were talking, and she said to me, when he gets a bit agitated, she plays this song for him, and then it always calms him down, like, when you do this certain song.
Yeah.
And what is all the research doing?
So I suppose you have to. I mean, Fran's perfectly summed it up. To be honest, it's about. The brain is kind of like hardwired to appreciate music, and that's, in utero basically, and we are appreciative of beats and music. But the fascinating thing, which I love, is if, for example, we are doing, I don't know, a crossword puzzle or a Sudoku, and we put our brain under a scanner, it only lights up one area of the brain. Whereas if you listen to music, it lights up like a firework display. It reaches all different parts of the brain, which is just amazing. So if, for example, one part of the brain is damaged by, say, a dementia, well, it doesn't matter. It's still going to have effects on lots of other regions of the brain. Right. So the amazing thing that we see, just exactly what Fran was saying there, you might not be able to remember what you had for your tea last night, but if you hear a song that you haven't heard for 40 years and you can remember all of the words, that's pretty powerful, isn't it?
That's evidence.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I'm just talking from my own experience there, and I think in terms of the abilities, what it can do, music for us, the first thing that it does when it takes the trip around the brain is it taps into our emotions. So as you said there, if you've got songs that remind you of childhood, your first family holiday, or your first dance at your wedding, whatever it is, it's going to make you feel exactly the way that you felt then, because it taps straight into our emotions. Music puts us in a place of familiarity as well. So if it's a song that means something to you, it's going to reduce the agitation and the stress, like you were saying there, and it's going to reduce anxiety. So again, we've seen amazing results where, for example, people's dementia journey is maybe causing them to lose weight because they're anxious and they don't want to eat, maybe because they're not familiar with their surroundings. Playing music, it just reduces that anxiety and that agitation and distress. They're more likely to eat again. It helps improve cognition. We know it's great for mood as well. It's fantastic for mood. The effects that it has are just incredible, and it doesn't really cost much. And what I always say is compare it to the side effects of medication. What are the side effects of music? For me, it's maybe singing loudly in the shower, or dancing, or spending my money on my records. They're my side effects, and I can cope with those. So when you compare it to medication, which is not really licensed for dementia, being used to calm people down and reduce agitation, I'd rather have my loved ones and family members on musical playlists prescribed rather than medication.
I think medication sometimes is a quick fix.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's a quick fix, they're going to go for that first, and they would go for music, isn't it? Which is a shame.
Yeah.
And I think platforms like this and what you're doing is getting it out there and telling people, and because my sons and my daughter still have their earpods in, singing along,
It should be like, if you could get the word out to GPs when they come in with their relatives, that, do you play your mother music? Do you play your dad music? Instead of like straight prescribed drugs, show them, that it's getting the word out, really, isn't it?
Well, when
but you can work alongside, you can work alongside drugs as well, can't you? It doesn't have to be, that you have no drugs at all. But you can work with them.
That's it. And I say, if you can remove that easy fix.
Not an excuse to fix it.
Exactly, yeah. When Playlist for Life was first starting in Scotland, what they did is they trialled this with a couple of local nurse and residential homes, and they found people's playlists, and they harnessed the best time, what we call therapeutic scheduling. They played the music during times maybe where relatives would come and visit as a connection. the GP for the nursing homes found this so good that they reduced medication and started prescribing playlists.
Brilliant.
And that for me, that was literally everything, because when you see the stories, if you ever go on Playlist for Life and see Harry and Margaret's story, it's the main one. It brought them back together. You know, he'd lost his communication. Margaret used to go home in tears every day, thinking, what else could she do? They introduced their playlist of when they first met and they first danced. They sang once, twice, 3 times a lady up until Harry passed away, you know. Oh. But it was a beautiful moment of them coming together every single visit and connecting over this. Yeah. But what they found was that Harry was no longer agitated and distressed. He was eating more and stuff. And he lived much longer than what they predicted, just off introducing his playlist. You know?
Wow.
And it's like that because when you've got dementia or Alzheimer's or any form of this disease, sometimes you're walking along and something just comes into your brain that you would never have thought of in a million years. I know as you get older, you think of different things, but with dementia, it just comes in.
You're getting a lot of things from when you were very young, weren't you?
Yeah, you know, it just all comes in. So once that you've been reminded about that song and the pleasure about it and what you done and what you didn't do or whatever happened with it is like a moment, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think
it's lovely.
Yeah, we'll look at what we call the memory bump, and that's age 10 to 30 in our life. They're the songs that stick with us the most as dementia progresses. So you will often go back to those songs that were special to you during that time. And that's when we're kind of looking for trying to find someone's soundtrack to their life. Often we'll use like 100 years, century of songs. So we'll look at what sort of like their age of 10 to 30 in the decades and see the most popular songs, and we'll trial some of those. The other ways that we find people's songs is through family members. We'll look at inheritance tracks as well. So, you know, if you're from a certain city or a certain religion, we can use a lot of tracks that you may have inherited that way. We look at sort of like traditional songs for that area as well. What else? We have tribal songs as well. So in Liverpool, you're either Liverpool or Everton, aren't you? So, they're 2 easy songs to always try straight away, aren't they?
Yeah.
So in terms of looking for songs, we aim for that memory bump of 10 to 30. And what you were saying before was really, really important as well. Red flag songs as well. So if we are trialing a song and we get a negative response, we don't want that, because as you say, we've all got our own heartbreak song, haven't we? Or maybe a song from a funeral that reminds us of a loved one. Whatever it is, it can be a negative experience. So these are the red flag songs that we try and steer clear from, really.
When you're saying stay clear from and things like that, you were mentioning before that you do one-to-ones. How does that work? And is that what the charity? It's a charity, isn't it?
Yeah. So Playlist for Life just has one mission, and that's every person living with dementia has their own personalised playlist. Right. And it's so important we use that word personalised, because far too often, you know, people have just been in a setting where they've just had one artist played on a CD or a record player in the room. And if you don't like that music, it's not going to do anything for you, is it? So it's got to be songs that are special to you. And we mentioned before the soundtrack to your life, Desert Island Discs, whatever it is. We've all have these special moments in our lives where songs are special. And it's about creating that playlist for people to use. And I think that's sort of like the most important thing. So how we actually do these one-to-ones, we can just use conversation starters. So I know I've done this one with you, Fran. So finding out songs from your memory bump. So a song that reminds you of your youth. Yeah. And a nice way of doing this, one-to-ones or groups, is who was the first boy band poster that you had, or the first boy band that you followed, or the first band that you went to see live, or the first, LP that you bought, whatever it is that's special to you of your youth. Party
Young
tunes.
Girl was mine in Ireland, like you said.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That was out when we were in Ireland, in County Wicklow.
Yeah.
And it was the first time.
You're smiling already.
Exactly.
In a way. Yeah.
And that one ties into which song reminds you of a favourite holiday or a family holiday as well. So some of those. TV theme tunes as well is a really popup one. You know, we often have conversation started for that. Do you remember the first TV set that you had in your house? Or what was the television programme that you most remember from your childhood or teens?
Mine would be the O'Needin line.
Oh yeah.
You loved the music from that, didn't you?
I like classical music, but I never associated liking classical music when I was young watching that programme. And I've since found out it's like got nothing to do with the sea. It's ballet music.
So you can have a good conversation starter with TV theme tunes as well. It's a really good one. Song that reminds you of your hometown. You know, again, it's
You Never Walk Alone, wouldn't it, for us?
Yeah, but when I've been doing these lately, it's
or In My Liverpool Home.
In My Liverpool Home. That's the one that always comes up.
Yeah.
Spinners. Yeah.
I used to watch them in the Gregsons well when I was younger. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not there now.
So is it a form of like, because reminiscence therapy is obviously like proven to slow down progression? Is this basically just another branch of reminiscence therapy?
Exactly that. But you're tapping into other areas of the brain. The motor cortex, for example, you know, we only have to think when we're at like a family party and I don't know, Dancing Queen by ABBA comes on and all of a sudden you look around, everyone's tapping their feet, aren't they? Or, you know, tapping on a desk, or they're up dancing. So it has that effect on us as well. And we've seen it with certain dementias as well, where maybe people will struggle with mobility. Say, for example, it's a Parkinson's type dementia. If you, again, bring in personalised playlists, their mobility starts to improve because you're actively using that part of the brain as well. So it has that reminiscence element, but it also has all of these incredible other effects of reaching different parts of the brain.
We've been saying we're going to get all of the co-hosts together and we're going to go dancing because we had Dr. Ivan on.
Yeah.
I keep saying it because I'm going to make it happen somehow. Because we had Dr. Ivan on, who's a neuropsychiatrist, and he's like, what would you recommend if you were early in the stage of dementia? Like, learn to dance, because you got the music, you got the motion, you got the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
So maybe when we do go dancing, we'll all get a playlist together. Make sure
Let's get one for two left feet.
There's a karaoke room just around the corner as well.
So it would be like a double whammy. We're learning, doing dancing, but we're also reminiscing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Reminiscing. So
definitely line dancing. We could all do the same thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I couldn't do that. What's that new one they're doing after that gangster program that was on in
like
Liverpool?
line dancing.
Oh yeah,
they're calling
it
something. I don't know what it's called.
House of the
But
Bamboo
everyone's
That's
doing it
the
now.
House of the Bamboo. That's
The House of the Bamboo. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. We'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
we'll have to
doing
learn that
that
one.
now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Every episode we do, I'm going to write down all the songs that we're going to be dancing to. Brilliant.
Oh,
And
I can see a sick day coming on.
And
I forgot.
yeah, no, you'll be there. And in terms of like what you've seen in terms of how people like continue to use it, do they set like, what's the practical aspect? Is it getting a Spotify? Is it, you know, putting it on Apple? Like, how do
everyone's different, aren't they? Really, and I think this is the good thing, that Playlists for Life, all of the resource on the website, all free for everyone, and it shows you how to create a playlist, whether it's, you know, collecting your records or whether it's CDs, or as you say, digitally is now the most popular. So if people can create them quite quick on, you know, apps like Spotify, and then ask Alexa to play your playlist or what have you. But a really good one that was personal to me, I helped a guy. It was just before last Christmas, and he came to talk about how to create a playlist for his wife. And he spoke about Motown. His wife loved Motown, and he wanted to create a playlist for her. When I got back to work in January, I got an email from him thanking me from his family, saying that they put it together on YouTube. So it was all music videos.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a continual playlist of music videos that were all personal to her. They said it was the best Christmas they'd had. They were all dancing. It was just incredible, and it was all because of her playlist. You know, so that was something I didn't think of. Visual, you know, videos as well can be just as powerful.
Love
as
telling
well,
about how.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, so that was a really beautiful thing that the family were saying, that it was one of the best Christmas that they've had.
so that,
really, you know?
it can make it a social experience, can't it? Because sometimes you might not be the most tech savvy to like set up a Spotify or a YouTube playlist or whatever. But that's maybe where you can involve the family to like help you get it set up, and then they can talk about their songs and what song, you know, you might discover a song that's meaningful to both of you, that might end up on the playlist.
Definitely. And that's why I like going to like the dementia cafes, because you can do this as a group activity. And, you know, if someone says, oh, my favourite song was Love Me Do by the Beatles, before you know it, everyone's got a story about the Beatles, or going to the cavern for the first time, and not reminiscence through conversation is just incredible. You know?
I think that's the thing with people. We were talking about it last week on last week's podcast. People think if you've got dementia, you've got no brain. You know, you there's nothing there, that it's all muddled up. Yeah. And you won't be able to talk about things like that. Yeah. And it's totally untrue. Because like you've just said then about, you know, people are sitting there and they go, oh. Exactly. And then by the time you've finished with that table, everyone's talked about what people don't sometimes understand that, you know, we've got a life and we've had a life, and we can remember all those things and things that we've done. But when you're with a crowd of people and you're chatting about it, and you're like, whoa, I remember that. You know, it is.
Exactly.
It's great.
I always feel privileged just to be a part of that conversation, to learn about someone's life. It's so special. And, you know, I teach my student nurses about this from day one, because they go into dementia wards, nursing homes, residence homes, and I say, just sit with someone, do this. See how special it is. You see, there's more to the person than a dementia. You've got a whole story of someone's life. You know, and it's a really beautiful moment. And, you know, students have come back and thanked me because they've been able to use this as an intervention on the ward. And but more importantly, they've learned so much about the person they're caring for, you know.
And I think a lot of student nurses are so thingo to get out there and try and do what the best that they can, or you know, be a proper nurse. And if you've got something like this, working with people in mental health, because I remember going into mental health when I was a student nurse, and I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. The whole time I was there, I was terrified. I used to go and give the dinners out from behind the thing because I didn't know what to do or say. Towards the end, I loved it. I used to be like the hairdresser there. But when I first went, didn't I, Frank? I used to think, you know, and to have something like that to go through with someone and start that conversation.
I used to look after.
It's amazing.
Sorry, I used to look after a care home for about 18 months, and the activities, once you get to know all the residents and the activities and doing them, and when they talk to you, and they're so involved, you can get so involved. Like so, it's bringing that out to people. Like, you know, we used to do things like activity. We didn't have nothing like the music thing, but we used to do a lot of activities and everything just to bring them out of themselves and that. So it's quite rewarding, like when you see them getting motivated.
Definitely. There's a couple of videos have gone viral last few years, haven't they? Because, you know, music taps into other skills that people have as well from their life. And the classic one that always chokes me is there was a lady in home in New York. They played Swan Lake and she did the whole of the dance.
I knew you were going to say that,
Yeah, so
she
powerful.
Had to strike people out on, I remember.
Exactly. And then I've seen locally as well where, again, we played a piece of music to someone and then they brought in a keyboard and he just played the whole thing and no one knew that this guy could even play an instrument, you know, and he was a music teacher years ago, you know, so tapping into all of these skills through music as well.
People don't have the time to do that nowadays, do they? As I say, they'll use something else instead of just taking that. And I know people are busy and I know it's hectic at times, but I think to just sit and ask somebody.
Definitely. And I'm seeing great results locally, you know, from nurses and dementia specialist nurses to A&E nurses, paramedics, lots of people that are starting to utilise this because they know that they can have a better shift themselves. They're going to have a better experience of getting to know someone. They, you know, are going to just make that person less agitated and, you know, be easier to care for and everything else.
I imagine being a paramedic. And you've got someone in an ambulance that you've just took from the home.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're trying to get a conversation going. You know, what's your favourite music?
Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So some amazing examples of it being in use. And the Royal College of Nursing come to film a short documentary about us using it last year because we go to Sefton Park Palmhouse to their tea dance every month.
I went to that this year.
We take all our student nurses there and we do one-to-ones with people while we're there as well. But we go out to anyone that'll have us around the Liverpool City region and we do the one-to-ones and we do group sessions to find people's soundtracks. And it's so nice just to see how effective it is from people coming back to tell us, you know, whether that's the people in with dementia carers or the actual staff, you know, telling us how powerful it's been.
Do you get funded for it?
So Playlist for Life is just totally reliant on the likes of funding and sponsorship and things like that as well, really. So they do some great work in keeping this all free.
Is it government funded?
No. But when you have a look at the Scottish Dementia Plan, it's one of the first recommendations is personalised playlists, and they highlight the work of Playlist for Life.
That's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if that was put into place, it would save a lot more on other issues within
medication alone,
the NHS. Or not just the NHS, people in the homes, whatever, that would save a lot, wouldn't it?
Definitely. And, music doesn't cost too much, really, compared to prescriptions and everything else. So, yeah, totally agree.
No. I know one of my friends, when COVID was on, and she was on the wards, and they had an horrendous time, as you can imagine. And she was taking a man down to one of the rooms, and he said to her, "Can I have a radio, love?" And she said, "Well, you'll have to wait till later." And she went out and she bought him a radio and took it back for him. And sadly, he passed away later on. But she took the radio for him.
Yeah, amazing.
For the music. And that's what he'd asked for when he was going, when he was getting put on the ward in the side room. Yeah. And she said, I just couldn't let him not have any music. So but he wanted a proper little radio.
Amazing. So that's something we're really passionate with MDFR. We want every hospital ward and GP surgery and everywhere to have DABs. So we've got the only dementia-friendly radio station in the country. Do you want to
tell us about that and the background to it and where it's come
it's amazing. From? So my friend Nat Gavin, his mum lived with dementia, and one of the things that he found was that there was no radio station that didn't cause agitation and distress. Because if you think about radio stations, they're full of horrible news stories and adverts, and there's lots of what Nat calls sonic clutter, lots of different sound waves and sound effects going off, and a lot of this can be quite distressing for people living with dementia. So we thought, right, I'll just create my own. So he's basically put an internet dementia radio station out there, no adverts, no distressing content. The music, again, like people can have their own playlists sent in, and a lot of the music is all about reminiscence. So you're getting people talking. There's some self-care prompts in there, totally dementia friendly. So Nat's been working on it for quite a few years, and then you got myself, Xiao Glynis, and James in as directors, and we're all from different backgrounds of dementia. And what we wanted to then look at is how can we make this so that it's more accessible, the likes of DAB and Alexas. And then over the last year, Nat's worked with Ofcom and getting a license for it to become the first DAB. So we had the official launch last week in the British Music Experience, which was fantastic.
Where was that?
The British Music Experience down by the Liver Buildings.
Oh, right,
yeah. So we had the launch. We had Roger Phillips from Radio Merseyside, who's now one of our DJs on MDFR. Wow. He come to compare it. We had the amazing Liverpool Memory Singers, the Dementia Choir. They came and performed for us. And we had a short documentary about the making of MDFR. But we've just got one goal, and that's we want it everywhere where people living with dementia will benefit from it. So at the launch, we were saying to Liverpool City Council, we want, as you say, GP surgeries, for example, nursing and residential homes, all dementia wards at A&Es, anywhere where people living with dementia may be. We want this radio station playing in there, and it's just it's an incredible thing. We're based in Speak at the moment. We've got the radio station based there. We have lots of students coming to learn how to be sound engineers and help with all kinds of aspects of running a radio station. We have loads of amazing DJs who give up their time to come and run shows that are all reminiscence based, and we run dementia friend sessions from the radio station to try and make the community more dementia friendly as well. So it's an amazing thing. And what as you said there, in terms of radios, that's something we're really, really passionate about now. Can we get these DAB radio stations into everywhere? So if anyone is listening who would like to help, that's something that we're really desperate to do,
Wow. And so hospital wards or care homes can just literally get it for free?
At the moment, if you've got a DAB, you just search Dementia Radio. And if you've got an Alexa, you just say play Dementia Radio and it plays it for you.
Oh, I'm going to try mine when I
get home. And you can send in your own requests for your own playlists. It's really lovely radio shows on there as well. And a lot of them are kind of like Liverpool-based history radio shows as well. So talking about, again, using the power of reminiscence through music.
Seems like there's a lot of people working with you, is that right? There's a lot of people who have a big interest in it.
Definitely, definitely. And I think that's the good thing, is there's a lot of people who have got their own lived experience, such as Nat, who set this up. And, a lot of people that are MDFR, again, have got their own sort of like personal experience, and that's why they're so passionate in doing this, know.
Yeah. What do you do because I know it's quite obvious in different ethnic minorities have different cultures and different ideas about things.
Yeah.
Would you be able to adapt it to?
Yeah, definitely.
For them.
Yeah. So in terms of Playlist for Life, their resources for all, doesn't matter what country you're from, they've got a playlist for it, you know.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, it's fantastic. So again, I've gone into different nursing residential homes. I worked with a Moroccan older gentleman a while ago. I don't know much about Moroccan music, I'll be the first.
Yeah.
I trialled the most popular Moroccan songs from this playlist and he was dancing in his chair and he was loving it. And his daughter was saying exactly the same. She said, God, you know, I said, I'm like Scouse Moroccan. I don't really know the history. But when we put the songs in, she said, God, I remember these. I used to have these on in the house. Stuff. It was a really lovely moment. Yeah. So again, when we talk about being a music detective, we often have to use quite a lot of different skills to track down songs of people. You know, again, across Liverpool City region, we've got amazing societies like Liverpool Chinese Wellbeing, Mary Seacole House.
I was just going to say about the Chinese people.
All incredible organisations.
Close-knit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're all doing their own thing around music as well, which is beautiful. So again, in terms of like the languages as well. So all of the leaflets that Playlist for Life got, they've got them all converted into languages as well that people will be able to use.
So it's available, isn't it, for everyone out there and their families who are sitting there thinking there's nothing there. Yeah. Because I imagine with some people, they've came over to this country 50 years ago and things, and a lot have lost that as they've gone along.
That's it.
And to have something that they can go back to and think, oh, I remember that, and you know, stuff like that.
Definitely.
That is,
there's no downside at all, is there?
No, not really. I'll say the side effects of music, as I say, we've all probably got a few dodgy ones, but other than that, you know, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, depends what you're drinking and smoking, whether you like them or not.
Brilliant.
Or you'd even remember them.
And so the hopes with the radio station is that just it goes as far and wide as possible.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got an Ofcom radio licence for basically Liverpool. It covers areas on the Wirral as well. I think it goes to as far as sort of like St Helens. We're working with an MP in Southport at the moment who wants it to be able to expand to there. But obviously we need more funding because these masts that we pay for to get it further afield. Right. But the likes of Southport, you know, it's got an ageing population. People often go to retire to places like Southport. And the MP was saying they have high rates of dementia there. And the nurses we work with in Southport and the MP are really passionate in getting that available in Southport as well. So we do want to expand. We want to, if we can cover the Northwest, then that would be incredible, you know. But sadly, you know, as you know, it all costs money and we're just doing this as volunteers and a labour of love, really. So we need someone who's kind of very kind to come in with some backing.
What sort of money are you talking about?
Quite a lot, really.
You don't want to scare people off.
No, whatever people can, you know, if people want to get involved, there's lots of ways that they can do it, from sponsoring a radio show, a certain show, right the way up to, we've currently put an appeal out for people that want to buy DAB radio so we can take these into nursing residential homes for free and things. So we know there's a lot of big organisations in Liverpool who we're hoping will start to back us with this because it's such a great thing, isn't it? And as you know, 1 and 2 people will be affected by dementia, and the more people who get involved to help with this, the better, really.
It's like most diseases, isn't it? Like cancer, MND, all these other diseases. Nobody thinks about them till it hits them.
Of course.
And that's right, because we don't want to think about things like that. We don't want things to happen to us. But people who are living with dementia and carers who are living with dementia, it's a very, very difficult time for both sides.
Definitely.
And to think you could have something like you've got there to just make that day a bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
Is amazing.
It is.
And it costs... You know,
next to nothing.
Next to nothing.
Exactly.
It's just
that's a really good point. And you know, talking about carers as well, because I say Harry and Margaret's the classic example where it brought them together. But we also see as well, you know, if you've got your loved one dancing in the living room to their favourite songs, you can go and have a cup of tea and you can do certain things yourself as well, can't you, as well? So it does have all of those benefits.
And everyone needs one.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if someone's who's got dementia, to relax the mood That,
Yeah.
like, you know, because quite often you get agitation with dementia and that.
Yeah.
And they get confused and angry and all kinds of emotions. So the more you can sort of suppress that side of it, the better it is for the carer and the patient.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a playlist for every mood, you know, for
Yeah.
every weather. You know, I'm obsessed with making my own playlist. But I think a lovely thing to do, you know, is to do it as a family activity. You know, so that everyone's got their own playlist. It's a really lovely conversation starter to do, and that conversation starter one is just a free printout on Playlist for Life. But it's a great one to do with the members of your family. You know,
it just gives some people as well a sense of, well, someone's cared about us. Someone's thought about that and put it together because they know we're struggling, or you know, there's something we can do now. We don't have to sort of go and sit around a table and just chat or knit or colour things in. Nothing wrong with that. But when you've got something like this that's physically and mentally got you back on par, even if it be for 2 or 3 hours, you can see that difference, and it brings someone back to you as well, doesn't it, as a carer?
And if you can lift someone's mood, the after effects of that can be for hours, as you say, you know, because there's many things we can do to affect our mood, isn't there? And I think, you know, music has that really sort of long-lasting effect as well. You know, you can walk around with a smile all day.
I think you've got a choice as well. You can pick.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not getting, I think you'd like that.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything worse.
No, I couldn't. So you've got the choice to pick.
Yeah.
And even as a carer, you can pick. I know Frank knows what songs I like, and I know what songs Frank likes.
Yeah.
So I'd know what, to an extent. But at least I could get a few on there.
Yeah.
And Frank could get a few on for me.
And looking at it quite logically, music does permeate every aspect of your life, doesn't it, really? If you look back at your life and you think, you know, remember a birthday party, someone's christening, a wedding, like, you know, a friend's birthday, I went to my friend's house, or, you know, there's always going to be music somewhere along, you know, your whole life, you know.
And especially when there's like key events on as well. So, you know, whether that's, I don't know, the World Cup or Eurovision or whatever it is, there's always songs that go, oh God, I remember being at that moment, or watching it on the TV, or being with my family and things as well. So it's just such a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember Lulu and Sandy Shaw from Eurovision.
There you go.
Going back further, I was listening to a programme on the radio, it was about music, and like going back to prehistoric times, they used to make music with rocks, and they found a stone flute, you know. So, like, you know, the instruments and
always been there.
It's always been there.
Definitely, yeah. And each culture has their own sort of historical aspects around music as well. You know? Using some music artifacts can be really powerful as well. I've seen that as well, where people have got things associated maybe to their religion that are music based, and just seeing it, you know, brings them back as well. So, yeah, it's an amazing thing.
I'm just laughing. My dad had a pair of spoons.
Well, my granddad was, every time there's a party, I don't need to always get a spoon out there.
To the music. I remember my dad doing
that. Down his leg.
It just reminded me of that now at music.
My granddad was Irish, and he was an accordion player, and he used to do weddings and wakes, you know. And when he passed away, that was the one thing I've got is an accordion, so it's very special. So.
We used to follow the on the 12th of July. What was it they called it?
The Orange Lodge.
The Orange Lodge. We used to follow them just to listen to the music.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Still love that. Used to play them in the pub as well, didn't we?
Awesome.
Most pubs years ago had a piano.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All old pubs had a piano.
Yeah.
Replaced by jukeboxes. Yeah.
One of my earliest memories, I went out with it was a friend of a friend, and he walked and we come out the toilet basically, and there was a bar there, and he seen it was an Irish chap, and he just sat down and started playing the piano and started singing. Next thing, the whole bar was sort of standing up. I've always been dead jealous of that moment. So why couldn't I do that? But it's also instigated the whole hour and a half extra in this pub, you know.
Yeah.
Well, singing together is supposed to be as well amazing for
definitely
for your brain and for your general mental health and stuff. Isn't it?
I am like a cat. There's no way
so am I.
my singing would cheer anyone
After the
up.
dancing lesson,
like someone stood on my feet. Yeah, as a cat.
Well, I can sing as well as I can dance.
Can't wait to see it, Frank. Can't wait to see it.
I was saying before, I turn into a block of wood on the dance. Freeze.
And with your sort of lecturer nursing hat on, what are you seeing in terms of how people are viewing dementia and sort of, because the message that what society at large thinks to what it's actually like I've been totally surprised the last 2 years getting involved with it and seeing what the reality is compared to what you think it is. From a nursing perspective, what are you seeing out there in terms of changes or attitudes?
It's a great question, because often now with anyone who comes onto the nursing programme, we used to get a lot more mature students, and obviously the bursary got scrapped and things, and now we get a lot more students who are basically straight out of school into nursing. If they've, like you said before, got personal experience, if they've known someone affected by dementia, they come in, and often they're quite passionate within that area. Maybe they see a career in that area. What we did notice for a lot of maybe younger students, that they had a bit of a fear and a lot of misconceptions around dementia. So that was something that we wanted to address within their first week. So they do Dementia Friends training, Liverpool House of Memories. We worked together in creating a package of training by them, and we evaluated it before and after the training. And the reduction in misconceptions and stigma is great now.
Oh, so a lot of them, isn't it?
Say, for example, their first placement is a nursing or residential home, and they've got a bit of apprehension about it. That's reduced now, because they're going into it going, no, actually, it's not what I've learned in the past or what I've seen on a TV programme. So we're doing an awful lot in terms of addressing that. We've set up a Dementia Ambassadors programme where we train students in Playlists for Life. They all become dementia friends, and we're active in the community. We take them out and we engage in all of these amazing services and organisations. But what I always love is often these students who do have that apprehension, they go off to this placement. 6 weeks later, they come back and they go, I loved it. It was brilliant. Never seen a career in dementia. Now I want to work there, because once they are finding the stories of someone's life and they're working so closely with someone, they see, I might not get that in other opportunities, in other wards and places. They actually say, this is the career I want to go into. And they're always my favourite moments, to be honest.
Yeah.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It can be so rewarding. Like we had Nicole on, who was talking about gymnastics. And she had that guy who went from hardly moving to like swinging a golf club and going the driving range.
Yeah.
And I think then if you're coming, to nursing, you want to care for people. You can see that impact by having this knowledge and approaching it in a certain way. Yeah, definitely. You can have this hugely positive impact, can't you? Like in the moment, and that's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of student nurses will come onto the programme wanting to dip their toe in the water of every area and just see what works for them. That's totally fine. Some people will just know from day one the area that they want to. But I'm always pleasantly surprised after they've done all of their training, they go off to these placements and they come back and they absolutely love it, and that's great. And I run a Dementia Masters module as well, and we have healthcare professionals come onto that who are already qualified in areas. Maybe they are dietitians or social work or paramedics, but they want to learn more about dementia for their own progression. So they do a master's module, and at the end they'll exactly the same. They'll maybe I might look to move areas to work in dementia.
It's really interesting as well, isn't it? Because there's so many types of dementia.
Of course,
so many. I only just thought there was dementia.
Yeah, well, Fran's give we've been.
Talks to agile student nurses.
And like
and in the Royal.
And the Royal, exactly. And some of the comments we got back off about how they perceive dementia after Fran's been doing. That's sort of like a question and answer session as well and everything.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And that's what
they're
they
usually
need.
quite shocked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what people need to see, that you can live well with dementia. And you need to see people that are active as well, and not sort of like the common misconceptions and such to it.
And I think medical staff have them misconceptions, because I got asked what was I doing there, because I certainly didn't look like I had dementia.
Wow. Yeah.
And I thought so.
What
have I got to look like?
Yeah, what does a person with dementia look like?
Funny, we were in a meeting in town, the library, weren't we? And the lady was telling us about dementia, and someone said something to a person, said, you don't look like you got dementia. She said, you don't look like you're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the perfect one.
And we always like to ask the guests to finish up. If there's one thing that you could say to someone who's recently been diagnosed, or a family member of someone who's been recently diagnosed, what's one thing you'd like to share with them or leave with them?
I think just the power of music. I've found from meeting hundreds and hundreds of people that it can have great effects. And I think if you harness its real value and you utilize it, it can be a lifeline for people living with dementia and carers. So yeah, please do look into Playlist for Life and all of the free resources they've got, and start using it, really, because it's such an amazing thing. Just off this show, we're all smiling off talking about music, and it has exactly the same effects,
Perfect.
Yeah. Can you get it online, and can you get it on?
Yeah.
Is it on TikTok or any of the?
Yeah, so Playlist for Life they're on all of the social media and everything like that as well. But if you just go to the website, playlistforlife.org.uk, all of the free resources are on there, and you'll find everything that you need to find your own playlist. But I say just start with a conversation starter as a family. It's a really lovely thing to do. Yeah. And often you'll learn things about your own family members that you don't know as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or you may not need to know.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Dean. It's been
thanks
great.
for having me.
And,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening.
It's been really interesting.
Yeah, follow us on all the social medias, Fighting Dementia Podcast, and the website's fightingdementiapod.com. If you'd like to be a guest, or you want to talk about your work or your research, we're going to start doing video guests as well soon, so that people can call in, do it from. So if you're anywhere in the world and you'd like to come on and tell your story, please get in touch. And thanks again to Dean and to Frank for getting roped in last minute. Wonderful, wonderful co-hosting. And always thanks to Fran as well.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.